Coverage of severe weather in the Central Plains and farther north as well. We are now live on the Weather Channel Network and also on our streaming app, showing you what has been a very dangerous storm south of Oklahoma City. And you see all the lightning associated with that storm. These have just blown up in the last couple of hours here. And right now, an ongoing tornado warning for Cleveland, McLean counties, considerable threat tag for a large and extremely dangerous tornado. Now, I want you to see what has happened, the evolution that has occurred here in the last few minutes. So you see that dark area right in there. That was the tornado right there showing up, coming into the coal area. Very well defined in the reflectivity mode. Continue to kind of lift up into cold. Now watch this. So here is where you've got inflow. That is where warm and humid air is coming into the storm. Now, as we continue to go forward, you see where that's kind of getting pinched off. That area of warm and humid air is kind of getting pinched off. And so the result is that we're not seeing as well-defined of a circulation as we were looking at moments ago. We can go to the velocity mode here. Still very strong circulation showing up in the velocity mode here, but it's now lifting up and into the middle of this rain core. And the whole thing has been turning more towards the northeast as opposed to east. So right in there is where there's still rotation, and let's follow this as it moves up. You see it's been moving east, 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 and then takes this turn more off to the northeast. So following that forward, that's going to be coming more towards the Norman area, but I would not be surprised if it does begin to show some signs of weakening, because it is firmly now embedded within that area of rain. I think the area of inflow is starting to get choked off. Let's also look and see what's showing up in the debris. We're still seeing a debris signature showing up here. So this continues to be a really dangerous storm now, and we've got a new warning that has just come out here. Confirmed large, extremely dangerous tornado moving east at 20 miles per hour. I do think we've got more of a northeast component to this storm. And you see, you can follow that debris signature as it came up. And now, it's a lot more diffuse relative to what it was over coal. You can see right over coal right there. I mean, that is a very well-defined debris signature right there. And it's not as well-defined right now. So again, I do think that there is some impact from the fact that you've got this area of inflow that is being sort of pinched off. But, of course, there's a lot of velocity already. It doesn't just spin down right away usually. And that is now, again, it has taken this kind of a left turn. And so I think it is now moving more towards the Norman area right now. So coming up into Goldsby, if you're in Goldsby, please get to your safe place right now. Still got a tornado warning here for a confirmed large and dangerous tornado. Again, I do think the storm is cycling. We're seeing the inflow getting cut off here, but sometimes it can just be a matter of moments before the storm reorganizes, and we continue to see strong circulation in the velocity data right in there. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that is absolutely still a strong circulation, and really has taken a left turn here. I'm going to go back a couple of frames, and we can kind of follow this out. Let's move out just a little bit. So this is where we first started seeing right in there exceptionally strong circulation in the coal area. We go forward a couple of frames, we see that came right across coal and then started to turn more towards the north, really almost due northeast. Right now, it's kind of lifting up, which is, not surprising because, as I say, the storm is cycling, so it's kind of pulling that circulation closer into the core of the storm. But it's still a very strong circulation, and this is now, from my eyes, now headed more towards Norman. I mean, you could make the case that it's even a little more of a northeasterly component than that. Let's just draw that even a little more northeast. So that would be squarely coming into Norman, kind of following that there. You see how it made that left turn? It was moving east, 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 and now moving, a little more left, and now appears to be moving more up and towards the Norman area. So, heads up there in Norman, we're still seeing, even though this thing is wrapped into the core and completely wrapped in rain, we're still seeing a very strong velocity signature here, and that is now moving towards Norman. I'm going to go back to the velocity mode here one more time, and we'll circle that. That's where the strong circulation is right now. That's just west of 35. I was looking at this on the Google Maps moments ago. It does appear to be largely farmland, but you're getting closer to 35. And obviously, as you get more northeast, you get more towards Norman, becomes a whole lot more developed and heavily populated. And so, I do think that is moving more towards the northeast. Now, let's see. We've got a new warning that has just popped out here. And they're still calling this an east motion, but I do really think that has got a northeast component to it. So I do think it's going to be moving more towards Norman as that lifts up there. I mean, you could make the case that it's even more. Yeah, look at that. So there's a new velocity scan. I mean, it's even more profound than that. It's more. Let me erase this very quickly. It's almost like northeast right now. So it's like this basically is where this thing is headed at this time, and that's being reflected in the new polygon. I don't know why they called that east, because you can see that the new polygon reflects that turn in motion. So anyway, the bottom line is, this is coming towards the 35 corridor, Interstate 35, moving right up and into the Norman area. And so please, folks, take cover right now. If you're in Norman, you've got still a very strong storm now moving your way, and is coming up into that area. Let me go ahead and okay, so now they've got, I'm sorry, so I clicked the wrong thing. They've now got a north motion on this at 15 miles per hour. It's not moving quickly. There's not a lot of wind in the atmosphere in general today. It's not one of those days where storms are rapidly moving along. So north at 15 miles per hour, but definitely has made this turn more towards the northeast. And, that is why we are now seeing this threat into the Norman area. So drawing that out, maybe even will pass a little to the east of central Norman, and then right along the 35 corridor as well. Then now there's another tornado warning off to the south as well. Let me track that out. So tornado warning in effect here into the Slaughterville area. That's Cleveland and McLean. You see this new area of circulation that is spun up right there, now just west of 35, and so following that forward, that is going to be moving out into Slaughterville as well as McGuire, also coming into McKittyville. I'm going to actually look at the velocity data in this case, and we'll see what's going on here. So we've got kind of a broader circulation, but there definitely is a circulation right in here. No question about that. Right there is where we're seeing the tightest part of that circulation, and so that is moving to the east now. It's going to be coming towards Slaughterville, moving towards Willow View as well, also moving towards McKittyville, and coming towards, looks like, Etowah. So in all of those areas, please get to your safe place right now. You've got a possible tornado coming your way. Now, let's go back up to the other storm, because I am seeing some trends here, and I'm not surprised about this. So, let's compare the velocity signature. So there's our velocity right there. Let's go back just a couple of frames, and you see that it was much, much stronger right in there. Very strong, and then kind of taking a hard left turn. So, this is not surprising, because again, this thing has kind of gotten wrapped up, whereas you go back into the coal area, very well developed tornado right in there. I mean,